Howdy. No other program in America gets away with things like the NCAA does. No business in America is allowed to pay their employees the way the NCAA does. And no one is allowed to treat their employees the way that student athletes are treated in Division I revenue earning programs. Today, I'm here to tell you about why collegiate athletes in revenue earning situations deserve to be paid. First, I'm going to tell you about this issue and what we can do to solve it. Next, I'm going to tell you how it is an issue. And finally, we're going to talk about why. So first off, the NCAA makes an extraordinary amount of money, and the institutions within it, particularly Division I and Power 5 conferences, make a surplus of money from their athletes in primary athletic programs such as football, basketball, and baseball. According to USA Today, the SEC made $720 million in the last fiscal year over these primary programs. So given this data, I believe that athletes deserve a piece of the pie for the work that they put in. I think that athletes who contribute the most to these programs deserve their fair share of wealth because it's essentially their groundwork that has laid the institution for colleges earning this money. Next, we'll be talking about how we can change this issue. So there are multiple ways that we can go about helping out student athletes earn the right to getting the privilege of earning money. First, we can exercise our rights as voters in America. We as citizens have the privilege of being represented by those that we vote, and believe it or not, there are actually some politicians who are split on this issue, and using our votes, we can put politicians into office who believe in the same things that we do. Next, you can use your name and your signature to sign petitions. There are petitions with thousands of signatures on them that don't go unnoticed by the NCAA. And lastly, the combination of these two things can lead us to creating new legislation. And our hope is that this legislation will overturn the ways of the past and create a scenario in which student athletes can earn money. Lastly, I'll be talking about why we want this overturned. So I think this is really important to keep NCAA Division I sports alive. Sports are losing some of their primary athletes. Collegiate sports are losing some of their biggest athletes because of this issue. We look at college basketball, and we've seen a trend where college players are beginning to go pro at a younger age. One example would be LaMelo Ball, a very high-profile case, who he decided to skip college basketball, play professional basketball in Australia, and then come back to America. And he decided to skip that freshman year, and that's a year that we missed out in between his high school and his debut as a professional. Had he been given the opportunity to get paid by the NCAA, I think it might have been a much different picture. We're seeing this with other sports as well, and it's not just basketball. I think that it'll help participation as well. Not only is it a thing in basketball with high-profile cases, but it would be a moral victory for athletes in the NCAA and those who support it. I think that we all agree that those who do the bottom layer work, in businesses, those who do the manual labor get paid, and I believe that's a proper analogy when comparing Division I athletes to their schools and what they bring to the table. I think that morally it would be a win-win situation. Both sides, athletes can now get paid, and schools now are paying the athletes the way they should be, and there will be an increased view of the relationship between students, athletes, and their school. So in conclusion, I think that, like I said, this would be a win-win scenario for both parties, and it's something that we can make an impact on. Thank you.